Hey, everybody. Welcome to another reaction show or whatever we are at Shorthanded. And I've been watching a lot of these YouTube shows about the NHL because I like to be informed of what everyone else is talking about. I got to tell you, Nick here has some great insight into the NHL. I like his picks. Nick's picks are great. I enjoy Brendan's bombs. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But at the end of the day, this is a family conversation. Two guys just having a family conversation about a sport we're extremely passionate about.
Exactly.
Last night, Nick, I'm afraid I didn't wear enough black.
Yeah, it was a big funeral. Just like which coach was it that wore the black to the game? Was it
Panthers.
the Florida coach?
Panthers coach
Yeah,
wore a beautiful
they were all black
suit.
because the Lightning were done. They were eliminated. So let me go wear a black suit because it's a funeral.
Oh.
And then following that up, 3 funerals last night, which was very sad because I had Minnesota to keep it going, and I had LA to keep it going, and I got really depressed, and I was barely sleeping, so it went like that. So for the first game that we had, Toronto-Ottawa.
Yep.
I want to talk about that one. So they get it started off strong. I don't think Ottawa played how they meant to play. I knew when they like I said in the last podcast, when I said the Maple Leafs, they're going to not have that much pressure on them since it's like Ottawa's going to have the pressure because it's 3-2 now and they're at home. And Ottawa, I think Maple Leafs just lost 2 in a row. So I don't think they want to go through this again.
It was a great
Maple Leafs
comment.
fan.
It was a great comment because I agree with you. The way the Maple Leafs started, you said Maple Leafs aren't going to feel any pressure. The pressure's on Ottawa to try to win this one. I thought the Maple Leafs were going to feel more pressure. But again, the insightfulness of Nick was brilliant on that one because Toronto did come out and they looked very good.
Yeah, they did. I mean, first period, Austin Matthews, I love that goal. He didn't need to lift the puck, he just needed to sauce it in. I thought the power play was way better. Obviously the superstars showed up. Matthews scored, Nylander scored, and I just felt like they needed that. And I feel like Ottawa just was like, they were sort of out of reach of the game. Going just like, I mean, look at the shots. It was 23-23. It was a very even stat line game, but then that David Perron goal when he just floated it over Stolarz' shoulder, it was great. And then they got that, but right after it was Max Pacioretty from the pass from Domi straight to the slot. It's just like how Florida looks on Tampa Bay's mistakes. I feel like Toronto did the same thing, that pass.
You're going too fast. So for me too. I'm a little slow. I'm older. I'm the old guy on the podcast. We got to go slow for him. It's 2-0 Toronto, and then Ottawa scores on a great shit tip in by Brady Tkachuk, and I'm like, oh, they're back. And then they score to make it 2-2, and I'm not even kidding you. I was like, overtime. That was my first thought. I was like, we're going to overtime because I
didn't think that at all.
They scored late in the third period, and because the game was so tightly played, to your point about the shots, there weren't a lot of chances. So I was like, this is going to go to overtime because they're going to really lock things in. And
I just thought, from my perspective of the game, I just felt like Toronto had an edge on them the whole game. I don't know because I know the stat line was close, 2-2 in the third period with 8 minutes left. Obviously, it was a close game. I just felt like Toronto had the edge. It was like they're up 2-0, 2-2.
But when Ottawa had the goal off the back of the goalie's nameplate.
That was a crazy goal. I was very impressed.
I think it was a one-handed goal. Beats him. Looks like it hit the helmet. Looks like it hit the nameplate.
Yeah, he was below the goal line.
That's when I was just like, when you watch goals in hockey happen, and then it ties the game, I'm like, oh, it just feels like Ottawa's going to be destined to win this game. Because that's not a goal 99 times out of 100. He doesn't make that shot. That's like a 1 in 100 kind of shot for him. He's a defenseman. Shot. He doesn't do that normally. If it was a legit, he was the player, we're talking about Stone or somebody, an elite scorer. But that's not who we're talking about. But it was a great goal. So that's why I was like, oh, I think we're destined for overtime. Just because of the way they scored. It wasn't sloppy. It was just that's an amazing goal.
Yeah, exactly. So then we go, and now it's Max Pacioretty scores. Now it's 3-2.
Oh,
they had a lot of opportunities. Ottawa though.
Now we got to go. You got to go to that goal.
Okay.
Where was he at? Where was the
It's
shooter?
straight in the middle.
Well,
it was straight in the middle.
Beachfront property. That's what I always tell my boys. In front of the goalie is beachfront property, and where was the defender moving? Did you watch the Ottawa defender move away from him towards nobody?
Well, I've seen that a lot lately.
The forward was like, I need to go to my position. He didn't come down because, again, it's a tie game. There's no make the puck go further out. You have a better chance of blocking the shot.
Because when they go over to the boards, I feel like they just drift. Some defenders, like I've seen a lot in these playoffs, they drift away and then they give the shooter too much room. And especially a veteran like Max Pacioretty, he's not missing that shot.
You know why they do that, though? They drift away because they want to get ready for the breakout. I understand why they're doing it, but it's a 2-2 game in the third period. And the other thing that you have to give Toronto a ton of credit. Did you notice how he just maneuvered himself into a further opening? If you watch that replay, he goes backwards. He's going backwards. He looks around.
These players are really impressive.
He looks around. He makes sure he has space for that, and then he does just the quickest little slapper, and it's top shelf.
Yeah.
The goalie had no chance. No chance.
Yeah, Omar played good too. I think he obviously played better when he had that shutout. But still, I just felt like Toronto had just most of that pressure that game. And now, you saw the defender just drifting away from him. And then when you leave him in the slot like that, I've seen that a lot. But then I've seen like goalies make those saves sometimes when you have them right in, but not a guy like Linus Ullmark. Oh, and then it's a screen in front. They try to move up to get Max Pacioretty's stick, but then they're screening Ullmark.
Yep. And
then his vision. He's a good player, and he has that vision, so he just sees the right side of the net on the Ullmark's glove side.
The other thing that I have to give a ton of credit, when they were doing 6-on-5, before they scored the fourth goal, how many times did the Toronto goaltender just come up huge?
Oh, absolutely.
I was like, Ottawa's putting the pressure on. I'm cheering for overtime. I wanted overtime so bad.
Yeah,
I picked Ottawa. Great. You picked Toronto. I want to beat you. I want Ottawa to win. I want to watch the Tkachuk brothers play in the next round. I have all these hopes I'm dreaming of. Yeah. And this Toronto goaltenders just, again, in the last minutes, there's a couple goaltenders that played out of their mind. He was one of them. Star of the game, again, Toronto, congratulations, you're moving on.
But also one thing, when Brady Tkachuk scores, how hyped does he get the crowd? Oh my goodness! Like you saw in like the Four Nations when he scored.
Doesn't he look like a monster? Like how big
Dude,
is
he's crazy. Now imagine
so
him and Tkachuk going against each other. We saw them going together in the Four Nations face-off. But imagine them facing off in the second round. It would just cinema. Absolutely.
I would like to see them have to play a 1-game playoff to get into the playoffs. But
dude,
he's a massive kid. And he's a kid, but
huge.
he is so large and he's going to be a handful. Ottawa's got a good young team. I like the way that they played. I like the way they came back. And in fact, that series was a lot closer. I know it was 6 games.
Yeah, but the series was great. I love the series.
Hats off. Thank you, Ottawa. Thank you for bringing us a great series. Thank you, Toronto, for moving on. And that's our first funeral of the day. So I start off all sad because I picked Ottawa.
I just think that's like a top 3 series for me. Like in entertainment, I feel like the Battle of Ontario and just the way it was going, the Ottawa chants were really funny. They said Marner's leaving, and then Matthews is balding. I thought the chants were great.
Yes.
Yeah, and then.
You forget about some of these chants because you're so like enthralled with the game, but you're not wrong. It was very college-like. That's a college
exactly.
Atmosphere.
That's what you see at like college games. And then I felt like Toronto's first.
poor Matthews.
And then I felt like Toronto's first line stepped up a lot in that game. They've been using like Matthew Nyes, and they've been scoring a lot of goals from their depth.
Nylander. I mean.
Dude, I love his tape. You know how the tape goes up a little bit from the toe? His shot is electric. I mean, the goal, like, I get it. He was in there. He had a lot of room. But still, he's such a fun player to watch.
Oh, he's so smooth.
Yeah.
He's not frantic. He's smooth. Like, he doesn't look like he's trying, but he's so good. His turns,
Exactly.
elite. So, anyways, they move on. We'll cover the next series, but we got more funerals to go to. Which game did you want to comment on next? I do agree with you, though. Toronto and Ottawa was a great series, and the fans are the winners.
Yeah, well, I want to leave like the best for last. I'll go Vegas. A Vegas game.
Okay, Vegas Golden Knights. So just so everybody remembers, yesterday I said my heart wanted Minnesota and my head felt that Golden Knights were going to do what I was afraid they were going to do, which is they came out early. They were the aggressor. They knew this is the game they wanted to eliminate. They didn't want to get to a Game 7. And guess what you said? The big boys for the Golden Knights started showing up in Game 5, and my goodness gracious did they show up in this game.
Look at the goals they scored. Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, Shea Theodore. Look at those big names, and look how they showed up in Minnesota. They haven't done that a lot this series, so they knew when it mattered the most, and mostly did Jack Eichel. He showed up when it mattered most.
He was in the right places at the right time. The great players in the right places at the right time, and the puck finds them when your team needs them the most. That's the one thing I've learned about hockey. As much as I would love to say, oh, it's the stick, oh, it's the timing. Guess what? His breakaway goal. How good was his breakaway goal?
Dude, he just you get it forehand, backhand, and then you just have it little boom, boom, Gustafson's gone. But it's a Jack Eichel on a breakaway. He's not going to miss those.
It's 2-1 in the third, and it's coming down in time. And then Stone has the Lemieux Agency Insurance goal of the night.
That was crazy because they had the former shot just right before that didn't go in. It was crazy, and Jack Eichel had an empty net to himself, brought it around, and then they just had Mark Stone. He was Pete Alonso in that moment, batted it in.
Batting practice. Yes, it was a great goal. And I love again this camera work is so excellent. The camera angle from behind the net captured that so brilliantly.
It was perfect.
They slowed it down. The puck is flailing, and he just hits it like a line drive right into the back of the net. The goaltender has no chance.
Yeah, and then Ryan Hartman.
But then Minnesota scores again.
Yeah, Ryan Hartman, he scored the 2 goals. He had a hell of a game. He was all over the puck. He was getting the pucks on it. I think he had I'm pretty sure it was him, 6 shots on goals in maybe the first period or something like that.
Guess who was mad about the offsides call? The guy who scored the goal in Game 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna let you know, and you can go back and we have other series. When you allow a team to do that to you, when you disallow a goal of that importance, and then it's over, that's why everything matters in the playoffs. You cannot let something dumb beat you, because the hockey gods remember.
Yeah. And so Ryan Hartman had the wraparound goal.
Wraparound was brilliant.
And then he made it 3-2 though. So now they needed to still empty their goal, get the goalie out, empty their net, and then they had to score again. It was tough because they scored already, and it's oh man, just if we didn't give up that Mark Stone goal, this game would be completely different. The series would be different. It just like that offsides call, it comes down to just one little thing, and you got to be so careful. So now it's 3-2. You're going. Your net's empty. I feel like they put on the pressure, but Vegas, they just came up big in those last couple minutes. Aiden Hill came up huge. Wild had 31 shots. I didn't think they were behind that much in that game, at all. It was a very close and intense game. I had a bunch of fun watching it.
Crowd was great. Minnesota came out, and they impressed both of us because we thought Golden Knights were 4 or 5 games in this series. They were down 2-1 at one point. They end up winning game 4, 5, and 6. Beating them and proving they are ready to move on to the next level.
So then
congrats to the Golden Knights.
Yeah.
I still for me, my confidence in them winning a cup was shaken by this series.
Yeah.
But we'll go into the predictions for the next round. Yeah. But we have a funeral, Minnesota Wild.
Also.
And we have to make a special announcement for this funeral.
Marc-André Fleury. The best goalie career of all time. My favorite goaltender of all time. I just want to say, Fleury, congratulations. I just like, what a way to go out. That was just, it was great. I loved how the handshake line, like they do that in hockey, and especially when Fleury was on it, he's crying. I was just great. It was just like
how
romantic.
much class is hockey at the end of a series? I know they're very
exactly.
The whole Golden Knights team stayed back, and we're applauding him as he skated off the ice for the final time.
Yeah.
Like everybody on the Golden Knights stayed out to acknowledge him and his career, the refs, all the players. To your point, he's a big impact for you because of what team you care about and what he did for them. But he had such a great career. He was he was beloved.
Yeah, and like I feel like he was the only goaltender in the league ever that you cheer for no matter what team you're on. Like he brings such a joy and love for the game. And he just had just these special moments. He brightened the world up wherever he was.
You loved him. You followed him at the Pittsburgh Penguins, so this meant a lot more to you. I watched it. I thought, again, I just reminded about the class of the NHL. I will again say this to every other sport. End playoff series like the NHL does. Even in the Stanley Cup losses, they still get in a line and shake hands. Before any trophies are awarded, before anybody does anything crazy, it is still, to me, the classiest way two teams have acknowledging you lost. And, I mean, these teams
even
fight.
if it's a rival series, like the Battle of Ontario, those two teams hate each other.
Right.
They were fighting all the time. Still, at the end of the series, they have a handshake line. I just think hockey's great for that.
I love when the goalies acknowledge each other at the end of a series because both goalies know how hard they both fought.
Yeah.
And how much they both wanted to move on. So we have two goodbyes. So the Golden Knights and the Wild. Maple Leafs and Ottawa. Great games. Excellent games.
Minnesota was a surprise. Ottawa, surprise.
Where do you want to go to next? We have two more games here.
Yeah, so I'll just go to Dallas, Colorado. And I'll just say, to start it off, the main thing. Mikko Rantanen and Wyatt Johnston, 1 period.
Oh.
Was it Rope Hintz, the 4 points? I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I do know that Dallas
Mikko
in the
Rantanen,
second period put on a
great
whooping on the
That
Avs.
was a way better second period that they have in Colorado the other game. They only had like a couple shots. And don't even get me started about that.
So this game starts off with the Avs up 2-0 after 1. And I thought at that point, I'm like, okay, this is pretty much going the way I thought. The Avs are going to handle business. And then I'm going into the second period intermission, and it's like you blinked, and it was like, it's 4-3. It's 4-3 Dallas. And I'm like, Dallas is going to eliminate Colorado at home? I'm like,
I was
color me
stunned.
shocked. I was like, this is not possible. But we get to the coveted third period, where Dallas has played better in the whole series.
Yeah.
And here comes the Avs, and here comes the arena. I thought the arena was hopping. I thought it was a great atmosphere. Go over the tying goal. Go over the go-ahead goal. This was madness at its greatest level.
So, yeah. Start off the game. It's, what was it? I think 3-0. 3-0 Avalanche going into the second period.
No. Going into the second period was 2-0.
2-0,
Yep.
you're right.
Then the Avs, I want to jump to the third.
Yep.
They scored at 4. Avs score 1. It's 4-3. We're going into the third.
Yep. And now, oh my God, okay. It's, what was it? 4-4. Nichukin scored. I thought it was a great rebound, right?
Oh, yeah.
To get
First
it around
off,
Ottinger.
he kicked it to his stick right
Oh,
by
yeah,
Ottinger.
I saw that. He kicked it from his skate, and then his stick got around Ottinger. It was great, right?
And he watched that shot. He bounced it off the ice into the net.
Yeah, and it was like a back-and-forth game.
Put that stick on the puck. It was a great reaction. And you saw, did you see after that score, like, how much he just screamed? Like, he was like...
Oh, just like, yes!
He was like, that's our
season. Let's go, we're tied. There's a season on the line.
And then we get to the freak goal. Because, again, for those that don't recall, in Game 5, Dallas had a freak goal. They had a goal that went off the glass, hit the back of the goaltender who backed it into the net.
So now it's 4-4. McKinnon's down the side. He doesn't have anybody with him on the right, so he just has his one hand on the stick. He just puts it to the side. He puts it in front of Ottinger. Magically, from the grace of God in heaven, it goes off of someone else's stick. They try to clear it. Then it goes off of Colin Blackwell. and it goes in the net.
Oh.
When I was watching it, I was like, does someone have a remote control device inside of the puck? And they're like, it's a drone and it's going in the net. Because seriously, that was one of the weirdest goals I've ever seen. And like the craziest too. It was just unexpected. It was cool. I thought it was a lucky goal. Luck.
The thing that's craziest about that goal was the defender was doing everything right. He went high with it. It went off the shoulder. The shoulder bounced. I mean, it literally, you couldn't have. It bounced off the shoulder, went right by Ottinger's glove in the top shelf.
Yeah.
Like everything about that goal, I was like, this is an unbelievable goal. So now they're up. Yeah. Now they're up 5-4, and then they proceed to get 2 empty netters.
Yeah, but Dallas, dude, they put the empty net. Me and my dad said Dallas is gonna win this game. They had to face off, and then they lost it. They scored. We're like, oh, okay, never mind. But before that, I felt like they had such good opportunities with that empty net, much more than any other team has had. And they have the players, the firepower. Like I've been saying, just getting these shots on net, ripping it on Blackwood. You got through them in this game. Then they get 2 empty net goals. It was a back and forth game, period wise. They goes like Colorado, Dallas, Colorado. It was an even game. It was great.
So if anybody wants to go back and rewatch any of the old podcasts, you're welcome to. We want you to. This was the series that we said is a shame that someone has to leave. So it's fitting it goes to 7. My favorite comment was the announcer who said, "I wish this could go to 9. I wish it could be a 9-game series. These teams are so good and they play so well." And you're talking about, here's the bounces, right? So now you go to Game 7. And the beauty about Game 7 is those bounces, the one off the goalie's back, the one off of the defender's shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things that can make or break your whole season. Your whole season comes down to a Game 7 and the puck, wherever the puck is going to go.
That's what I love about hockey.
You picked Dallas. Great. I picked the Avs. I can't wait to preview that game later on. But we get treated with Game 7. Thank you, and thank you. So Saturday night, Game 7. This is the game we both picked the Avs. We both won this one. And I feel like if any of these teams, like the Stars or the Avalanche, were playing any other team, they would beat that team in at least 5 games. I don't care what team it was. They were the most impressive series. I just wish it was like a Stanley Cup final. Because, like you said, in the first round, I've gone over this, but just a first-round matchup, it's sad that a team has to go. And just Cale Makar, his vision in that goal in the second period that tied it back 3-3, that was like one of the most impressive ones to me. Because you see him waiting, and then Martin Necas, he just gets to the back door. That's what's great about Cale Makar. He sees everything. He has that seeing eye, and he just gets it backdoor. Necas scores. It was electric. Guys, they stepped up, and just 7-4. It was a great night. My only concern about the Avs in Game 7 is the Avs have a lot of talent, and they like to have some really nice goals. It's Game 7. All the cuteness needs to go away. Just get it into the back of the net however you can.
We're in Dallas,
that's all that matters. And you're going to be in Dallas, so it's going to be great. I can't wait for that game on Saturday night. I know what I'm doing. I know what you're doing. It's going to be awesome. So that was the only team that did not have a funeral was the Avs. So congrats to the Avs. They're moving on. They get another game. Then we go to the last game of the night. This is probably my favorite game of the night. Because I picked
just want to end the podcast here.
I picked Edmonton to win. You picked the Kings to win, and the Kings ended up just not being able to do it for all intents and purposes. And I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want to say, but the goaltender for Edmonton found their goaltender. He's 4-0.
So yeah, I'll go over this game. I was the most heartbroken by this one. Not Minnesota. Like, obviously, I was heartbroken by Fleury, but not much like that. But, like, I had the Kings going to the conference finals, so now my conference finals are cooked, except for the Stars. It just bothers me how much I hate the Oilers, and then they win like that. The Quentin Byfield scored. I said he had to get going. He was going to score. He did. It was like 119 in. Boom. Right? Oilers bounce back. I was like, okay. Then Kings right back. Boom. Okay. It's like, okay, this is gonna be a great game. It's gonna be a close game, but gonna go to overtime. We're in Edmonton. The crowd's hyped up, right? So then Nugent Hopkins gets the goal. It was a good shot. It just went around Kemper. So then now Zach Hyman scores. It's 3-2. That's where I was like, they didn't score this one, but I was still like, okay, it's a 1-goal game. I still got the trust in them, right? So I'm just gonna like go in goals. Darnell Nurse scores, so I'm like,
but even before,
crap.
hold on, before Nurse scores, the Kings had a couple chances where they had, basically one on the goalie, and the goalie's making like 2 incredible saves.
Calvin Pickard is great,
right.
And he's better in the playoff. Like, I wouldn't say full career better than Skinner in the playoffs, but like right now, I'm saying Calvin Pickard, the way he's playing, he could have a better career in the playoffs if he keeps this up than Stuart Skinner.
He's 4-0 against the Kings.
I thought you were gonna say he's like 4'11". Oh, what?
He looks 4'11". He looks short.
He's not that big, but he's good.
Oh, again,
he's good.
He's, as they say, he's a hustler as a goalie, but he was a heck of a lot better than Skinner, and the Oilers have a lot to be thankful for. They have to be thankful for the Kings coaching staff for playing 3 lines and exhausting their players.
Just stop.
I think you have to look at and evaluate everything on the Kings. You cannot. You've lost to Edmonton now how many times? 4. And before all of this started, if you want to watch the first one, and I said Edmonton has done this time and time again. The Kings have the talent and the ability, but they haven't shown me. So until they show me, I'm picking Edmonton. And you know what Edmonton showed me? I feel like they're ramped up and ready to go. So the Edmonton Oilers are facing off with the Golden Knights, which I can't wait for. On this game in particular, he had some great. The Oilers goaltender had some key saves, and then the other thing is when you're down 3-2, they had some breakdowns, allowing the Nurse goal was an ultimate of all ultimate grip breakdowns.
That was, and then his celebration. The Janmark like assists there. I thought it was great, and I hate the Oilers, but still, you got to give the respect to them on how they were.
How great was the fake receiving of the pass? Like, I forgot if it was Dry. Who was
that?
It?
Was the Nugent? Was that Nugent? I think it was a Nugent Hopkins goal.
Yeah, he passed it back to Nurse, and he didn't take it, and Nurse is by himself.
Let it go. Let it go through his legs, and then he shot it, and it was like, bang! Oh. It was a great goal. I thought it was impressive.
Insurance goal of the night for me for this game by Lemieux Agency Insurance.
Yeah, they had a lot of like what do you call it? Like fast break goals. They were great on the fast break. I felt like Kemper played good the whole series. So he was like,
Kemper was amazing.
he gave up 5, but still you cannot blame this on him at all. 5 it's a playoff series. It's gonna happen. I just felt like Oilers after when they scored those 3 straight goals. That's when I was like, oh my goodness, come on. And then Jordan Spence, I thought that was a great goal. You get him in the slot. He hasn't had that much ice time. You get him right. It was a good shot right in there. Like we said, when you have these.
Hold on, before. Oh no, you're right. Yeah. That was a great goal.
Yeah,
making it 5-3.
So then you get him in the slot, like you said. You had Max Pacioretty in the slot. Yeah. You have him right there. Boom, goal. Okay, 5-3, promising.
And the Kings were moving really well too. They were getting a lot of those openings right there in the.
They were. That's what I like. My instincts were telling me they were going to move great in this game. They were. I love the way they've been playing throughout this whole entire season. They've been entertaining. That's what I felt like I saw. But then I saw from both teams, and Oilers just matched that energy. They matched that energy. They got the 3 straight goals, which I've experienced. Like when they get that 3-goal run and they get that energy. The Penguins game I've been to this year, I went to an Islanders-Penguins game in December. They just scored like 3 straight goals. And when that happens, your team can come back, but it's just so hard. All right, so now we're moving into the third period. You have about 50 seconds left. You're down 1. No, down 2. 5. It was 5-3.
Before you get to the LA Kings scoring with 6-on-5, they had 6-on-5. McDavid has the puck in his own zone, and he misses the net. They're ahead 5-3. Do you remember that? He missed the net.
And then it was him and Draisaitl, actually.
Yes, they missed chances to end it. And then the Kings end up scoring with like a minute to go.
That Drew Doughty, I love Drew Doughty. You know, he was trying to get it for his team. It was a great shot. Kopitar, obviously, he ended up getting credit for the goal. It was a great tip. I just felt like Then after that, so close, inches away from scoring. They still have like 50
Hold on,
seconds left to get in the zone.
Right
Yeah.
after that goal, I replayed the McDavid miss. I replayed them not scoring when McDavid and
I was surprised.
I replayed all that. And I said,
They
"Holy
deserve
cow!
to lose.
Is this the game that LA ties them, goes to overtime, and takes this whole series back? Is that what I'm witnessing?" And then to your point, we're talking like 30 seconds, 20 seconds to go. The puck is in front of the net. Blocker save. It's sitting there. The defender grabs it, clears it. They go down, and that's all she wrote. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I was like, well, I guess McDavid gets one, if you will.
Yeah.
Because he should have scored that, and he didn't. But Edmonton moves on, and the LA Kings have to face all the questions again.
And I expected a lot from this series, and I felt like I got that and a little bit more. I thought there was a lot of thrillers. The edge just on each team's side, like who had the edge right here. It was very entertaining. Obviously, I wish the outcome was different, but now the Kings, you've been versing Oilers for like 4 years straight, and you lose again.
So the biggest funeral
Where are
of
you
the
gonna
night.
go?
The biggest funeral of the night is the Kings.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the most painful one for the fans. Even though all the
Totally
LA
thought
Kings
they were gonna go
fans
to
moved
finals,
over to
man.
be Lakers fans, the Lakers lost, so they're out. So now they moved
Horrible.
over to be the Clippers fans because that's what LA does. So they'll be for the Clippers for Game 7 and then the Clippers will lose and they'll pretend like now they're Dodgers fans and they'll just move on. That's what they do. They're just like the animal that the chameleon there. Just whatever it is, I'll be that fan. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm all right. It's not like they're gonna suddenly like.
Yeah.
Veg on
I get
losing.
it.
The Kings are going to be okay. All the Kings go to the beach, but that's the worst funeral. I thought the Wild looked really promising. They're excited about next year. Ottawa looks very promising. They're excited about next year. So of the three funerals, I think the Kings are going to be the ones that look at things. It would not shock me if they fire the coach. It wouldn't shock me if they make some changes. You could just see in the handshake line, you could just feel the coach was just like the coach felt like he didn't want to be there.
Guilt. Guilt.
And then everyone's talking about the series change when he challenged that goal. Fair, that's fine, but I'm just going to let you know they had the lead in Game 4.
Give me a break,
And
dude.
and again it was 1-1 in Game 5.
Like it wasn't like a completely like Kings are out now. Like obviously they showed a little bit of that, but just still, it was just tough.
So,
and then like I loved how the Kings have been playing these past couple seasons and especially these last 2 years. But when it comes to the playoffs, you just can't keep on being first round exits to the same exact team. This is where I think they got to start changing some things, especially now.
Yeah, we'll get into the standings. We'll do an episode wholly on how they picked the playoffs and how the playoffs would have looked differently had they seeded this, in my opinion, the proper way. But we'll get into that later. And of the teams moving on, I feel pretty good about one of them, but we'll get into that later. We have a game tonight to pick. We have Nick's picks, or in this case, Nick's pick. He has one pick, so he's going to give us who he thinks is going to win, and he's going to give us what he thinks the score is going to be. And then Brendan's bomb, he's going to do the same thing. And we'll see. You can vote who you think did the best and who you think should just give this up, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep bombing.
Don't spoil this game for me because I'm going to be at the movies, then I'm going to watch it when I get home, okay? So, make sure I don't do that.
I don't know why you're going to a movie. The movies can wait.
Okay, but there's only one game on tonight, so it's like the best night to go to the movies. Let's be real. Okay?
That is fair.
So, it's one game tonight. I had my pick in Winnipeg.
You want to tell the fans what it is? Who's playing
Winnipeg Jets versus the St. Louis Blues.
Or as you like to call them.
St. Louis.
There you go.
Yep, that's my name for them, St. Louis, which I think they should be called. That's actually a great name. I should be the owner now. Screw Jim Montgomery. Denver University. Get out of here. Nick Lemieux's the coach now. I'll be the coach of the Penguins. They need a coach,
Yes, they do.
So we're going into St. Louis, and St. Louis has been looking extra, double extra promising in their gameplay at home, and so has each team. I feel like Winnipeg had the edge last game. They won 5-3. My guy Adam Lowry scored. So now we're moving into St. Louis. I had my original pick, Winnipeg Jets, in 6 games. So I got my pick right last game, Toronto in 6.
Yep.
So I'm gonna stick with my pick this game. Go Winnipeg in 6. They're going to win this game. My final score prediction: if Winnipeg wins this game, I don't think St. Louis is going to have a down stride in this game at all. It's going to be close. It's going to be like electric. I'm looking forward to it, but yeah, I feel like this is the first no games have gone into overtime in this series so far, which is surprising because I'm pretty sure like everyone has. But so now I feel like this is going to be the game that's going to go into overtime. St. Louis is fighting for their lives. I'm going to take Winnipeg 5-4 in overtime.
All right. Just so everyone knows, he's so confident he's going to the movies. That's why he's
Exactly.
going to the movies. He doesn't even have to watch. He knows Winnipeg has it in the bag. There are no suspensions in this game. St. Louis has no suspensions. Winnipeg got an injury last game. St. Louis likes beating up Winnipeg. St. Louis likes beating up their opponent. They're at home. The crowd is going to be crazy. To me, this is a no-brainer. 5-1.
Have you
St.
picked
Louis,
Winnipeg once in this series?
I think early on, if we were doing picks, maybe,
Mhm.
when they were at home.
Then what happened when you didn't pick
I have
Winnipeg
picked
in
St.
Winnipeg?
Louis on Game 5, which was poor. So now we're Game 6 in St. Louis. I have a 5-1 game. St. Louis wins this game 5-1. I believe they injure another Winnipeg Jet. And then we go to Game 7, and the Jets are going to be...
Bro, Gabe Velarde's back. You're done. Gabe Velarde's back. Adam Lowry scored. Mark Scheifele's going to get 90 points. And also, Kyle Connor in opening games, I thought he's been great. And just the way Kyle Connor opens these games with scoring, it's great because all you have to do, give him the puck. I think he's been one of the better goal scorers this season, and especially for Winnipeg. So now that they have Gabe Velarde back, it's looking promising for me.
You're convincing me to change one thing. It's 5-2, St. Louis. I'm going to give Winnipeg 2 goals based on your wonderful...
Wow, so generous, huh?
I'm pretty generous. I'm feeling pretty generous.
Okay, you know what? Then my final score prediction: 200-0, 200 to nothing. Okay.
You had
Adam Lowry scoring at 200 goals.
5-4 in overtime is what you have. I have it going to Game 7. We're going to have 2 Game 7s in the first round, which would be legitimately awesome and makes my heart happy.
I cannot wait for the Stars Colorado Game 7. That is going to be great, especially in the scorching Dallas when, fire Nico.
So,
it's the Stars game. What?
So subscribe to us, like us, comment about what you think about these picks. Tomorrow we'll be evaluating the game tonight, St. Louis and Winnipeg, and we'll be picking Game 7. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Nick. I hope you have a great time this evening watching the St. Louis Blues blow up the Jets.
Okay, sure. Jets actually blow up things, so.
And Brendan bombs. That's what we have, folks. Thanks again for joining us for
Wow.
Shorthanded. Have a great evening, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Man.